better this one looks.
Yeah, I think you have a better phone.
Is that our buddy Kevin right there? I seen it say Kevin, but I'm just is that I think it is. I got to be very very careful what I say on here, so you know I'm not gonna try to get too crazy with it. How often do people not pay? Very 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 rarely. I think that has a lot to do with how you approach it from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like setting expectations. Should I switch to be an HVAC tech? I'm an auto tech. Do you like working on cars? Because I don't. I would not want to work on a car to save um, nothing. Like I don't want to work on cars at all. Is Ream your go-to? I do. I put in a lot of Ream. Make it V. HVAC or electrician? Um, do you like to pick up behind yourself? HVAC. Best way to get your name out. Just started my business end of the year. I like yard signs. If you're in a rural area, yard signs tend to work pretty good. Um, um, Google ads work pretty good. I mean, Facebook Reels is another thing. Someone says if you do Facebook Reels, promote your reel. I think if you're upfront with a customer, they'll usually. I've got to plug in this phone. Maybe it won't perish on me. And it probably is. What are some things I should look into the new HVAC system that I choose to have installed? Jaws. I will not install another one without a 4-inch filter. Particularly in new construction, where I have the option to kind of design it, the return and stuff how I want to. Some change outs, you may not have that opportunity, but 4-inch filters is pretty much mandatory in my installations. It's really kind of a non-negotiable. If I can make it work, some closets and some places you can't just make it work, But for the most part, it's going to be included, and it's not. That's just what it is. If you need help getting the filters or whatever, I'll help you get the filters or whatever. But just for everybody's interest at heart here, it's best to use them. Are there better brands out there than others? I would say so. I mean, they all have different pros and cons. Ream makes a shorter unit, so it can go in different areas. Goodman makes a unit that has more CFM in a different drain style. Train is really good if you just like spending a lot of money. You know, honestly, I don't put in a lot of train. Some people is going to say, my friends over here on the other platform, they're going to probably say that that train is amazing, but maybe they're commercial stuff, I guess. So they're all will have bad parts eventually, but I would suggest just having really good practices installing them. Run your nitrogen, pull proper vacuums, all that type of stuff. Over there, everyone on YouTube land, I see y'all over here. I'm streaming on multiple platforms right now, so if y'all have questions or whatever, man, just give me a shout. You know what I mean? Like HVAC, that's what we're doing. How much does an apprentice make? Well, it depends. Union, non-union, where I'm at, it's a real rural area. I live in South Mississippi, so I mean, I live in a poor state in the union. Um, Honestly, clearly this is my first haircut in a long time. People didn't even know who I was anymore. So, uh, do you do any commercial HVAC? I do. I do some commercial HVAC. Yes. You install Goodman. Here recently, a guy was pretty particular about it. Like he wasn't gonna have anything else, so I installed a good one. Um, People over here in YouTube land, I'm trying to look for comments. I don't know. I don't know if anyone can.
I don't think anybody's commented yet.
Yeah. Wonder why it looks like that compared to this. It's crazy.
Dirty. This does look a lot better.
Yeah. On TikTok, it looks a lot better. I have a Linux. You know, a lot of people. A lot of people have Linux a little ways from me. You know, it's kind of crazy because there's not a lot of Linux where I'm at. What part of South Mississippi I teach in Oxford High School? Hey, Chell, I'm in Ocean Springs right now, but we work all over. We actually go pretty good far way up that way. How you like your Linux? Mini splits are taking hold in my part of North Carolina. Are they popular in your area? They are. Mini splits are getting to be very, very, very popular in the area I'm in. All 14 series units are made with the same, in my opinion. Hey, you don't like that Linux? You know, the thing about Linux is they kind of make their parts difficult. Like where I'm at, there's only one place that sells it, and it's like an hour ride. So that's the reason. I'm gonna see if I can change this filter a little bit. Maybe I can, because it's really throwing me off over here. Hang on, my YouTube friends. I'm gonna try to change this up where it ain't so crazy. I don't know what's the deal right here. Yeah. I think it's something to do with the live part itself. I think it just may be. No, a little bit better. A little bit better. It was a little bit better. Maybe if I turn this will get me a little bit more light here. So, I'm in South Mississippi, guys. Love the videos, man. Thank you, Henderson. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm more of a Ream guy. You know, I'm kind of liking Goodman a little bit here lately. I don't know. You do good work. I see it a lot of it on Facebook. Keep it up, bud. Thanks, you, man. I appreciate that, man. I try to do what I can. You know, some people like it. Some people say, you know, whatever they say. We switched to Linux last year to Goodman heat pump. Was not over the 12, and they need to be over. Was not over the 12. I make 28, but I do single family maintenance. People in my area, I think I've heard someone making 40. I can't afford to pay that just where I'm at. I'm in between two kind of small metropolitan areas, and like 30 to 45 minutes in either direction. And you know, we're like lower 30s. How? Somehow I made it back. Nice, that's good. Depends on location, yeah. People on my YouTube over here, man, I appreciate it if y'all like and follow. If y'all have any HVAC questions, I'll be glad to help with them. I've been in the air conditioning field for 17 years. I've had my business for 8 years. Licensed commercial residential in Alabama and Mississippi. And we do HVAC and refrigeration. So if you have HVAC or refrigeration questions, that's what I do. I think all, the installation process is so critical from the new construction standpoint because it sets like the standard of how that house is going to cool from then on. So when you go to do a change out, you know, you're limited by what other people did on the new construction. So I'm very, very, very critical about what I do on those new constructions. The press tools, I really like the idea of them, but the fittings are kind of expensive. You know, you're talking about $20 a piece, and you're talking about the tools $3,000. I mean, they make the job quick and easy, and some of them now have the double O ring, so that's even nicer. But I mean, I don't know, man. I wish the fittings were cheaper. Maybe one day when they mass produce them, where they're somewhat more reasonable, or get the tool at a cheaper cost. That would be nice. 34 is great for Alabama. My furnace kicks on but won't ignite. I changed the flame sensor, that didn't work. So, did your is it 80% or a higher efficiency furnace? Let me say that right off the get go. Somehow or another, I've been on 1% with this phone just charged and it's not turned off yet. If y'all don't mind, if y'all could hit the follow button, that would be great, man. I really appreciate it. That's what I'm trying to do, get my followers back up. I had an account with like 30 something thousand followers. Um, I'm wanting out of this part. Inspector, where do you go to school at? It is kind of weird the way that some people list their old equipment up online. Like they'll have something that's 20 years old, they'll list it up for like $4,000. Um, well, the first thing that should happen is your inducer motor should come on. It's just stay running, and then you should hear the gas come on. Then you should see it try to either spark, or you should see um, your hot surface igniter start to glow. I'm not sure where it's missing out at. I actually show my students your stuff, so keep it up, man. Hey, I appreciate that, man. You can tell them that, hey, I was on live last night. If y'all follow me, I'll try to answer any questions or whatever. I know, of course, you're there to help them, but just here to be a presence online. Are there any fridges that don't condensate outside? Is really hot, humid areas you use? My heat X motor keeps dying. I don't think so. Not fridges. I mean, I'm going to say they all condensate outside. Like, are you talking about, like, when you're saying fridges, are you talking about, like, regular refrigerators? Or are you talking about walk-in coolers? I mean, give me a little bit more information. I'll see if I can be more helpful. Hey, what's up, Peener? My heat X motor keeps dying. You're talking about your evaporator motor, Daniel? Because if your evaporator motor keeps going out, you probably have like a bad capacitor. You might have restricted airflow, and that motor is struggling to keep air going through. I would check. Make sure you have what type of motor do you have on it? First off, do you have like a capacitor on it? Do you have like where it says got new motor, new cap? Okay. Do you have restricted airflow? Do you have dirty filters? Do you have a dirty coil? Do you have a gas furnace? Gas. Okay, so you might have a dirty coil. You might actually have a dirty evaporator coil. And because it can't blow air through there, it's steadily trying to turn and it can't push that air. So it could be causing electrical issues inside the motor to give it higher amperage than normal. I would check the filter. I would check to make sure my fan blades wasn't dirty, because if you get dirty on it, that could do it. Does it sound like it's rubbing or scratching anywhere? And how fast does it go out? Like, I mean, is you talking about once a year? Are you talking about once every week or two? Or hey, you making any more copper bars soon? Hey, Matt, I think I actually got some left over. When the other account went bye-bye, I still had some left. So I think I still have some in my garage right now. I think I probably have like 20 of them, 30 of them. You still there, Daniel? System got cleaned up. Um, what, what about your evaporator coil? Did they pull and clean it? Changed 3 in the last 3 months. That seems like a problem. Um, have they looked at the evaporator coil to make sure it wasn't dirty? Matt, do you want one of those copper bars? Get them to check that blower motor. I meant that evaporator coil. It's kind of a pain to check, I know, because you can't really see underneath the coil because of the gas furnace there. But they could take the front cover off, and there's generally like a V-style piece of sheet metal. They could undo a couple screws, and they could actually take a picture with their phone or something, and they could see how dirty it is. Yeah, it's no problem, man. Hey, Jamar. We're up to 4,500 likes. For anyone that's still just hanging around, man, if y'all want to hit the follow button, I'm trying to get to 20 followers this live. Big 2-0. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm not sure what that effect is. Michael Roberto. Nasser. I know a Nasser. I wonder if that's the same guy. Man, I wish I was 25 to 32. I mean, I know you're saying years ago, but man, I'm 36. I'm fixing to be hitting 40. You know, I just keep on growing my own food and just keep on eating healthy. Shoot. Yeah, what's going on with the compressor? Hey, JB Cobbs. For the people on YouTube, I'm streaming on multiple platforms, so if y'all got questions or whatever, man, just ask them away. I'll see if I can help you. Marcus, that's a really good question, actually. But let me tell you this. When I was confident enough to go on my own, I was still pretty incompetent. I just didn't know how incompetent I was, because I was competent as a technician, but I was incompetent as a business owner, and those are very different skill sets. And you should learn as much as you can about business before you get into business. You need to know about your laws. You need to know about your business and contracts. You need to know about sales tax. You need to have a good accountant. And actually go ask a lot of people. Go on the Facebook groups. Go on Instagram. Go on these different places and ask them, like, who's a good business accountant? You know, don't just go pick someone and say, "Oh yeah, I heard today was a good accountant." Go get a bunch of opinions. Don't just go get one, because the business side of this industry is its own skill set. It really is. To be honest with you, like, there's still times right now that it's always a work in progress. Like, I've been running a company now for 8 years, and there's times I still go like, am I being competitive? Am I overpricing this? Am I pricing myself out? Am I handling this situation right? Should I handle this differently? Should I stand firm on this, or should I, you know, there's a lot of things. You know, I mean, you're making decisions and you just stick by them and keep going, really. I mean, but I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you get as much knowledge as you can on the business, about accountants, about your sales tax, about overhead and how to bid properly. I would really recommend that you do that. The problem, and I say this, the problem is you don't know what you don't know. Like, if you're a great technician and you never ran a business, you don't know nothing about running a business. So you're probably thinking like, well, it ain't that hard. Well, the lessons as a technician don't really cost you that much. The lessons running a business will cost you a lot. You won't forget those.
I don't know that.
You won't forget those lessons. That is for sure. That guy right down there, HVAC boss. You know, I can say this. This is something I can say for sure. If you're out there trying, you got your heart in the right place, you're trying to do right by people, you can make it. And there's people out there that's willing to help you, like me. And just as whatever you think about me, understand that there's people way better at this than me. Like that guy, that message right above you, HVAC boss. He's got a company with like 50 trucks. You know, it's crazy. It's really unbelievable that you have the access to information that you really have. 20 years ago, you would have been trying to figure it out all on your own. It'd have been a world difference. But now, I mean, you got someone in here that's, I've been doing it 17 years. HVAC boss has been doing it forever. I mean, the amount of experience that you can gain and how quickly you can gain it is really unbelievable. Some of my videos that get the best response is just trying to support other people in HVAC. It's almost like there's a need, and there's truly a need for that support. Like just someone to say, "Hey, man, I know what you're going through." It's really a need for that. You'll get more responses out of people just trying to be positive, just trying to be helpful, just telling them, hold your head up, it's gonna get better. You're gonna make it through that. Yeah, I can show you how to do that, and I'm not gonna show you in a way that's gonna humiliate you. I'm not gonna show you in a way that's gonna make you look silly to your customer. I'm not gonna, I'm just trying to help you. You know. A lot of people going in and out. People over there in YouTube land, we're streaming on multiple platforms. So if y'all got questions or whatnot, Angel, you gonna be in Orlando? That's the next one at. One day I'm gonna have to fly out there and surprise Angel. Just walk in there. Hey, man. I can imagine the day that I go there, he's not gonna be there. Oh, he's out running calls. Do you recommend people have capacitors for the units on standby? You know what I think? I think that as just a maintenance thing, I think that they should just replace them. Like, just buy capacitors in a crazy bulk, like capacitors and contactors, and just replace them. You know, like, uh, hey, James, have a 20-year-old rental that's double wide. Coleman HVAC, best replacement. I'd go back with the exact same Coleman. I would if I it's probably worth having a couple extra capacitors. Like if you have a certain unit, go ahead and have an extra capacitor. Uh, One day I'm gonna show up over there, Angel. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just show up. I just hope that day you ain't busy or something. Uh, I see you over there, James. Man, it's like I don't understand the YouTube. The YouTube live is like it's crazy. I don't know, and they're both Androids. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those turbo caps, man, they're crazy. I just can't. Hey, you a better man than me because I ain't spending $100 on a capacitor. I just can't do it. I can't do it. The thing about so here's the issue for the guy asking about the double wides specifically. Double wides have a high static duct system, meaning you can't just put any type of unit in there. And like I know they make multi-positional air handlers, and you could, in theory, flip the coil and make it a downflow. But what I'm trying to tell you is, if you don't have the right type of motor in there, that motor is not going to push enough airflow. Your coil is going to sweat, and when your coil sweats, it's going to drip down and it's going to ruin the floor. The only way that you could do it theoretically with a regular style air handler is to flip it downflow and have a constant torque motor that's going to move a certain amount of CFM no matter what. Other than that, if you have a PSC motor, hang it up. Don't put it in there because you're just going to ruin someone's trailer. Even better, just get you a Coleman that was in there and replace it with another Coleman. Exit when shops are closed and pick up the right one. Look at old Troy. Look. I can when I do get off here, I can be happy now that Troy joined in. I know he was out there somewhere. Installer service, which you like? I like new construction on the higher end, just because I like designing systems and seeing how my designs work. And I do a lot of stuff that other people don't do, and they may think it's weird or whatever. I put a lot of 30 by 30 returns in, just so that way I can move air at a slower feet per minute through the grills, Just Deuce, man, I'm just glad I got some technicians, to be honest with you, man. I try to you got to really be understanding, treat people the way you want to be treated, Try to be understanding, try to schedule around them, be happy you have them, they make your life easier. Chris, I don't typically use digital gauges very often. I just grew up using analogs, man, and I just like analogs, really. I don't have nothing against digital. I just use my analogs. I know how to check my superheat, my subcooling. I know how to check my delta T. I got thermometers and all that, But with that being said, if you want to know my recommendation on them, I like Field Piece. Field Piece really goes the extra mile for HVAC people. They really do. Hey, Bryant. Got a few people over there in YouTube land. We're over here on TikTok too. So just going back and forth. Appreciate the rose. Trying to get up to about 37,500 something followers again. It's kind of crazy. I got more followers on YouTube now. Yeah, for sure, man. So I'm thinking, I do not use companies for leads. Thoughts on stocking up for 410? Look, let me tell y'all something. One time, I bought a pallet of 410, okay, and it was $80 a drum. By the time I got through with that pallet of 410, it was $350 a drum. Man, I absolutely crushed it with that pallet of refrigerant. And it's probably a good time to do it now if you can afford it. I've heard of Oak Island. Greg, is the metal detector on there a guy? I've heard of Oak Island. User 35291502. Yeah, you probably have a refrigerant leak. BB, I use a lot of social media stuff. Um, Someone has said that if you're in a rural area, I find that yard signs do well. Some people in metropolitan areas has said that boosting your Facebook reels, making reels for your videos on Facebook and Instagram do very well if you do that. My experience with paying people for leads is not positive, so I try to recommend not doing that. Yeah, I've worked with Home Advisor, I've worked with Angie's Leads, I've worked with a couple of different ones, and it's just not positive experiences. Troy coming in big with the 10 shares. I see you. Okay, just put a 5-ton unit in. When I got there, Nicole had been spray painted to look. New unit had no old unit been fired up. Didn't work. They bought the place, the coil. So you put an air conditioner on Oak Island? Is that what you're saying, James? So I'm streaming on TikTok and YouTube right now. A guy on YouTube, I think, is saying that he did an air conditioner on Oak Island. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, those yard signs really are beneficial for rural areas. And for us, it's been really helpful. Well, hey, it really messes with people if you put them in places like people can't reach. Like you get up, you have someone with a 6-foot ladder go ahead and put them up on a telephone pole or something where they can't even reach it, because a lot of other companies will come over there and take your sign if you ain't watching out. The Oak Island thing, that's pretty crazy. Didn't they find some treasure down in the bottom of it? Like, what ended up being the came of that? What ended up coming of that? Yeah, I remember when it was $80, man. If it was $80 again, I'd go down there and get a loan right now. What are y'all paying for 410? What's everyone paying for 410? Can we talk about it, or I don't know if it's against the rules or something. I think right now the current price where I'm at is $239. How much?
270.
It's $270.
Most recent.
Yeah, it's $270. Dang, so on YouTube, the guy's telling me that he did an air conditioned job for a guy that was doing searching on Oak Island, and they found a ring worth $750,000. It's pretty crazy, man. Are they still digging? I'd love to give me a pallet right now, because that stuff's gonna go sky high. Angel, what's going to be the replacement for 410? Have you heard anything that, like, when 410 starts to get high, are they going to change to like some kind of alternative? I know they got to A2L stuff, but I'm just saying, kind of like 407 was for 22. Bought a pallet end of last year for $225 a drum. He didn't find that ring on Oak Island. He found it on the beaches of Florida. Oh, that's pretty sweet. Can you imagine, man? Just out there. I got a metal detector too, by the way. It's kind of crazy. I take them to the beaches all the time, but when I go to a beach, uh, I don't generally bring it all the time. But when I go to a beach, I live on the coast, so we're looking for floating packages. $422B. What is that? That's new 22. A little bit lower pressure, a little bit of capacity loss, but it ain't that bad. I think I use mineral oil. We use new 22 a little bit. Uh, uh, most systems are 410. Yeah. And I imagine the price of 410 is going to skyrocket. Like, there's just no way. And I mean, worst case scenario, really and truly, I guess no matter what, it's going to be a win if you're in business. Buy as much 410 as you can, because even if you have to retail it out, you're still going to make a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah, try to. Nitrogen's a pretty good thing, pretty good practice to be part of. How do you check your superheat? With a clamp and a meter on the suction line? Pretty straightforward stuff. We don't, but I heard that someone does. Especially around, I live on the coast, but a lot of us don't. A lot of us don't have coatings on our condensers. Nitrogen, James. Nitrogen on purging the lines, prevent oxidation inside the pipes. Hey, Nate, how do you check your subcoil with a clamp and a meter on the liquid line? Not to be confused with the discharge line, the liquid line. Do you pro press? I don't, man. I just can't justify the $3,000 and the $20 of fitting. If the fittings were comparable, and I didn't have to, what is that?
Came ejected.
Oh, I thought that was one of them other. I can't show that drink. I don't think. How do you check your super coolant? Man, with my super checker. Nah. I really like the idea of ProPress though, but it just doesn't make sense to me for the high cost of the tool and the fittings. It's like it doesn't all. It's like I don't know. Pays for itself over time. Well, see, that's the thing, Troy. I was sitting there thinking like, yes, we do check for leaks. We do check for leaks after a vacuum. But that's what I'm saying is that it don't. Like, it's crazy to me. I think it's a great tool. Like, I think it probably saves time maybe, but like how much, I don't know. Like, the fittings cost more. And like, another thing about the ProPress is that on your service valves, you got to cut them off. You got to cut off your valve to where it's the same size. Yeah, with nitrogen. Just not nitrous, but nitrogen. The ProPress gas lines look crazy. What are your thoughts on compressor ratio and how it relates to troubleshooting? Just get rid of the old Linux furnace. Man, compressors are pretty straightforward. You know what I mean? Like, most of the time when you're dealing with issues, it's either grounded, not grounded. You get a thermal overload that's stuck. You get terminals that's blew out. I think people deal with compressors and make them overcomplicated. I don't think they're really that complicated. Yeah, but yeah, we do that, James. We do check with nitrogen. It's a big, heavy tank, but we got them for sure. And I'm really particular about that because if you don't, especially with heat pumps, they'll clog up um, your reversing valves, and it just becomes a problem. You get rid of the old Linux and you got a new Goodman. So far, so good. Yeah, I think that's a good trade that you got there. Peak me, it's actually regular lettuce. You can't really see it. Um, we're actually going through a point where we just took out a tomato plant back there, and we're going to, like, I'm in my kitchen. For the people that don't know, like, I got a garden in my kitchen, so if I want to eat something, I literally go pick it off a plant and eat it right now. You know, I figure it's like the best way to do it. I pro press one compressor change out. Everything else is bad. I guess it would also depend on how much gas is being used. Yeah, that's another thing too with gas. But I mean, like the gas. I mean, I'm not sure how many you would weld up systems. I guess it depends on how many fittings. But I mean, if you had $20 a fitting for the pro press, two on each valve, and then two at the air handler, that's $80 in fittings. You know, that's a bunch. Like, I like the idea of it for sure. I just don't know how effective it is, like cost effective. You can order condenser with valves not wedged out. Really? I didn't know that. I think I've seen them like that. Some of the different off brands around here have them like that. No matter what, any HVAC videos I support 100%, brother. I appreciate that, man, because I try to support everyone else's. Have you installed variable refrigerant volume, also known as VRF, variable refrigerant flow? I took the test on it, or I took some certifications on it, but I actually started in the middle of the certification, and I was trying to see if I could get some credit, but I didn't get the credit for it. I think I actually took the certification a long time ago for LG, but man, that was a long time ago. Yeah, lettuce. It is actual lettuce. But we got like green onions, kale, parsley. We got we got 4 arrow gardens right here on the other side of me. I just try to eat fresh food, man. And like it tastes so much different fresh. I should play the lotto was a good guess. I played the lotto. You do better than me, man. That's for sure. Internal or external equalized TXV, pros and cons. Well, internal, if you lose the charge on it, you just replace the TXV. If it's external, it's always going to have its charge as long as there's not a leak. But if that tube ever breaks, you know, like you lost all your refrigerant because of that, you know. And what do you think about the switch to copper compressant? The ProPress fittings, I just don't think I can offset the cost of it, man. Like it'd have to be a clear win for me to do that, and I just don't think it does it. But I like it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the oxidation and stuff like that is a big issue in my opinion, and it saves a lot of time. Couplings, we got Swedgers, we got benders. I even got the Hvac power bender. I'm in South Mississippi. How do you feel about spray foam job you did? Man, you know the thing is, I really am particular about the way things look, and I can't get it uniform enough to be happy with it. You know, I know it'll work, I know it'll blow good and all that type of stuff, but I'm so particular about the way things look, it doesn't give me the satisfaction I really crave when I'm trying to do a job good, you know, as they say, good. Um, but the spray foam will last forever. The only thing I don't like about the spray foam is there's really no modification to it. Once it's there, it's there. You know what I'm saying? It's like it ain't going nowhere. I mean, you literally made it part of the structure, for sure. And it's really time consuming. It's a really good product. It's just I really wish that we did a lot more metal stuff over this way, but it's like, man, we don't like. I wouldn't even know where to go to get the sheets of metal like that. It's kind of crazy. There's one or two places that does sheet metal fabrication, but it's pretty expensive. Like a 4 foot piece is like $100, and I don't know how much. Like it's $100, man. It's like $25 a foot. We do, Nathan. We do commercial and residential. There's a company in Raleigh that does only compression fitting, so the employees don't have torches. I'm not against it. It's just like, man, those fittings are just so much. Have I ever installed Bosch? I've never heard anything bad about a Bosch unit. Now, I know, I think I said I made a video one time about that, and someone said something about it, but I haven't had anyone ever say really anything bad about Bosch. I'm going to go look at another Bosch unit tomorrow, the next day. Man, I tried, Troy. I can't, I can't do all the editing and stuff like you do, man. You got the music. You got like I almost feel like I'm at your job working with you when I'm listening and watching your videos. You're just like, I feel like that's the music that you were listening to that day. It's like it'll be some kind of some kind of classic rock song, and it'll be sitting there like zooming in and out. I heard that. How did you get your company started? It was out of necessity. I worked with a guy that was just so difficult, man, that, I just flat out told the guy I think I could run it better. And I wasn't trying to be condescending, but I mean, the guy would I know y'all don't know my area very well, but the guy didn't even keep a debit card in his pocket. I mean, there you go. You know what I'm saying? I was sold wolf tickets. I was told it was going to be good, and it wasn't good on that side. So, my story. I started 17 years ago. I got in HVAC because I had just got an associate's in business, and I couldn't find anything that would. I was already doing HVAC part time, but I was going to school part time, and I couldn't find anything to do with the associate's degree. Everyone kind of laughed me out wherever I went to. And I was just trying to find something entry level so I could get some experience. No one wanted to give me an opportunity, so I just kept going with HVAC. I said, well, I'm already working part-time in HVAC. I'll go to school for HVAC and keep the same schedule. Like it can only help me this way. And so I went to school. I had already been in the trade a couple years, and I already thought that I knew a pretty good bit about HVAC. But when I went to school, I found out that I didn't know as much as I thought, and it was very helpful to go to school for that. Then I worked with a couple other companies after that, a couple short runs. People was promising me this, promising me that, and it just wasn't worth it. I wasn't getting I wasn't getting what I was promised. It wasn't that I thought I was worth so much or anything like that, but if you tell me one thing, I expect one thing, and if you do something different, well, that's an issue. So eventually what happened is this guy, he moved, the guy I was working for moved the guy into his home. He was having some extended family issues, had to move one of his family members in, was telling me he didn't have no work, but at the same time using my tools and all this other stuff. Because I left my tools on the truck every day. You know what I mean? I wasn't taking them things home every single day. And he would tell me we didn't have no work, but what he was doing is letting that other guy use all my tools and stuff, and just keeping that money in his house. Well, the guy had already owed me a boatload of money anyway, and it just wasn't working out, man. So one Sunday, me and another guy said that I told him, I said, look, man, if he ain't got no work tomorrow, if he says he ain't got no work, I'd already been stacking up a whole nother set of tools, by the way. So I said, if you don't have no work tomorrow, just get ready, because I'm going to go around and I'm going to talk to some different people. We're going to get some money up. And that's how it started, man. Here we are 8 years later. That's just part of it. That's what we've been doing. What do you feel about companies wanting to slam equipment in no matter what time it's? Um, Man, the problem is that you deal with a lot of companies, or you deal with a lot of customers, or a lot of situations where there's liability issues. Like, do you want to? Do you really want to potentially damage your reputation by patching something that needs to be replaced? Like, this patch may work, it may not. And what'll happen over time is you'll tell people that, and then they'll get upset with you when it doesn't work out the way that you wanted it to. Or you're thinking of some type of patch might work and it doesn't work, and you spend a lot of time, you didn't make no money, you should have just replaced it anyway. And there's a whole bunch of scenarios that you're just trying to avoid, basically. You're trying to tiptoe around, wasting your time, wasting their time, wasting money. You know, you have to develop that experience. I appreciate that, Troy. You know, I put a lot of effort into my designs, man. I really do. You know, some of my returns, like I was telling someone else, I do a lot of 30 by 30s. I know and look, I make a lot of people probably get their hair blew back a little bit because I won't even put a return grill in a ceiling. They'll say, well, why am I having to go into my attic to change my filter? And I say, well, you got to go in the attic to maintain your drains anyway. What's the difference? You know, like, you got to go in the attic for this unit that's in the attic. It's got to be done. It's like, it ain't something that you can set and forget. It's got to be maintained. It's got to be took care of. But hey, don't worry, because I put you a 4-inch filter. It only needs to be changed every 3 to 6 months maybe. So there's that. And you won't require the kind of maintenance that other people do, because I put you a nice MERV 11 filter in there, or a MERV 13, whatever I could work in to getting done. I try to make sure that, like, on most systems, I put a 18 or 20-inch duct. I try to keep my feet per minute 350, which is very, very, very difficult in like a residential 5-ton unit. So I made a few videos after you said I wasn't a real HVAC owner. I know it was just fun breaking it. Man, I got so many videos out there. It's crazy. Some of them, some of them we made in the past. Some of them is made recent. 3 installs tomorrow for 2 teams. Gonna be a fun day. That's what's up. A lot of stuff going on. We got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow too. Hey, what's up, Will? I appreciate you joining in. If y'all haven't, man, y'all can hit the follow button. I appreciate that. Good money at a bad unit. Well, here's another thing, Josh. Something to consider is, I'm not against doing the repairs. Why not make money on the repair and then make money on the sale? I mean, whatever you want, it don't matter to me. I mean, I got to make money either way. If you want to repair, we'll repair it. If you want to replace it, we'll replace it. I can make the recommendation that, hey, I think it's time for you to replace it, but if you can't afford to replace it, I can offer you financing. If you don't want to do the financing, we can patch it. But at a certain point, eventually we're going to meet at a point to where, like, I'm going to say, man, I just can't do it, because it's going to come back on me. Like, it's going to be a waste of time. It ain't going to work out. The leaks, or there's just so many different scenarios that can happen. Hey, what's up, Shield? Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I've been live streaming almost 2 hours. I guess just seeing myself in a reflection keeps me motivated. More return is better than not enough. Well, Troy, here's the idea. The larger return will cut down on the whistling, and I'm also trying to design the system to operate with a high level of filtration. I don't want no dirty coils. I don't want to clean fan blades. Like all that stuff is preventable. I don't want to have algae and stuff growing on the coils. I don't want to have to deal with dirty drains. I want you to be able to have to change your filter once every 6 months, not every month. I want you to be able to have all that stuff, and the only way you can do it is by running a proper filtration. And it's costed like $300, but hey, it's $300. It's well saved, you know. Have you ever done Zoom meetings? Yes, I have done some Zoom meetings. Sure have. I always go through homeowner maintenance very install, and they all look at me puzzled. You know what I'm thinking about doing? I'm thinking about creating a magnet that has like one of those QR codes that shows them how to properly do all that in a video. So that way, every install I do, I just put a magnet on it, and when they call me up in the middle of the night and they're like, "Oh, how do you do that?" I'll be like, "Oh, hey, you see that QR code? Just scan it. It'll go over everything." Or is that dumb? Mm. Maintain drains. Who does that? Man, hey, look. Somebody's going to, because I put plenty of safeties on it. Maintenance is key. What are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, like, I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. Hey, James. This thing's, I'm at 2% on the YouTube one. Dude, that's straight up. Yeah. Hey, James, I'm on my TikTok, but this one's probably about to die. I don't have two chargers. But it's HVAC tips on TikTok if this phone dies. But hey, man, consider hitting the follow and stuff, and you can see a lot of my installs over there. I try to, you know, I'm really about the design, really about perfecting HVAC. So, what do you know? We've almost hit an hour. Maintenance is key, but you know, here's the biggest key to maintenance, though, is to make it easily maintainable. If it's hard to maintain, no one's going to maintain it. You know, like you want to be able to walk to the unit. You want to be able to easily service it. I got you following. I hit all your likes. I support everything you do, bro. Man, it means a lot, James. I promise you it does. I promise you, man. And, you know, I can't respond to all the comments and everything, but I do try to read them all. And I promise you, it means a lot to me, and I appreciate that support. Thank you. Maintenance, I'll get what you can afford, money. It can be more cost effective to replace and have a longer warranty than repair, says it. Look, the fact is, if you don't have enough airflow, you're going to destroy the compressor sooner. And you know, hand me that right there.